Hello and welcome back to my channel, the channel I rarely update these days. Thank you for being here. If you don't know me, my name is Bianca and I am a single woman who moved to Sardinia in Italy and bought myself a cheap house. Although I haven't updated you very much lately on what is going on in my life, obviously there are always things going on. I'm a fairly private person, so I don't love to share too much, but today what I have to share is something that everyone must do that moves to Italy. And that is going to the comune and registering yourself as a resident of the town that you're living in. Now, I am an Italian passport holder, an Italian citizen by birth, so legally speaking, I can live in Italy and I don't have to be registered as a resident. I can come and go as I please. Now, of course, the Italian government will consider anyone who's living in a place for more than 6 months or 180 days as someone who is a resident, but I don't actually have to be registered myself. So why am I going to get registered? Mostly, it's about requirements for the purchase of my house. So there are two main reasons that I'm going to put myself on the list as an official resident in the town where I bought a house. And the first reason is because there is a fee for buying a house here in Italy, as there are in all places. You buy a house, you pay money, you pay a fee. When I say fee, it's probably more of a tax. So as a first homeowner in Italy, you have benefits, and they are tax benefits. So I believe it's something around 2% of the purchase price of the house, and then there is a smaller fee that you have to pay. Now, if you don't complete residency, and it has to happen within 18 months of the purchase of the house, and I am about 10 days out of 18 months, then I could potentially end up with an additional fee or charge to pay. So they grant you the homeowner benefits. They grant you these at the beginning when you sign off everything with the notary, and then they stipulate in that contract that you must become a resident within 18 months in order to still receive those particular amounts. And if you don't, then I believe the 2% goes up to like 9%, and then the smaller charge also goes up. So that's reason number one for me going to the comune today to get my residency. Reason number two is also about money, and that is to do with my 15,000 euro grant that I received from the comune. Very grateful, very blessed to receive. It has really helped me on my journey here. So again, the rules stipulate that in order to receive that money as a gift, donation, whatever they call it, you do need to be a resident. If you are not a resident, then it reverts into being a debt that you have to pay back. So let's avoid that happening and go to the comune and set up my residency so I can avoid those additional charges. As I mentioned, I am an Italian citizen already. I hold an Italian passport. So my journey and this residency process is going to be different given that I have that already. There's one main reason why I left it this late to do it as well. And that reason is around what changes when you become a resident. So the main thing that I'm concerned about, the thing that changes, is that you are supposed to get your license, your Italian driving license, within 12 months of obtaining residency. So that means from the time that I register as a resident, which could very well be today because I believe it can happen all on the spot, I have 12 months in which to transfer my license. I don't have to give them my Australian license or anything. I just have to apply for and get an Italian license. Now, it doesn't matter how long you've been driving on the road in your country. there are no agreements between my country, Australia, and Italy when it comes to licenses. Therefore, and that is the case in pretty much all countries, I think, except Europe. I'm not sure about the UK. So what that means is I have to apply for a license as if I never had one before. I have to take all of the driving tests. I think I have to even go for some lessons. And I also have to take a written theoretical test. So not loving that, kind of wanting to avoid doing that. It's all in Italian. It's supposed to be pretty challenging, but I have spoken to people who have passed on the first go. I have also spoken to people who have not passed on the first go. So, fingers crossed that my Italian is enough, but I'll probably need to do some study and do some training. And a year passes so quickly that had I done my residency when I first arrived, it would have already been expired. Now, I currently don't have a car, so I don't have to worry about being on the road and driving, and who knows? I hope I have a car in the next year, but if I don't, then it's no big deal. But it is still something that I'm going to have to do in the future, as I do plan to have a car and I do plan to drive. So trying to push that out till the last time that's possible to push that out to. I don't personally love or feel the need to be a resident, if I'm brutally honest, but the financial requirements, the fact that I've purchased a house, because essentially what happens is you form part of a system. When you enter into residency, you agree to be part of that system. And there are benefits. You can register for healthcare, and I'm told that Italy has great healthcare. I have no idea if that's true or not, but I heard that online somewhere. But honestly, I don't use the healthcare system. The only time I would need the healthcare system is if I literally broke a bone in my body, because otherwise I just don't go to doctors. It's not my thing. I don't get checkups. I don't get vaccinations. I don't get any of that. So I tend to avoid that system, and I go for natural options whenever possible. I'm sure there are other benefits to it as well. Obviously, it'll mean that I officially go on the books for paying tax in this country, so I need to then be on top of that as well, making sure that I am lodging tax returns however that happens. So like I said, I'm just trying to push it out as long as I can, because when you move to a new place, it is a big change. It's a big transition. And there can be a lot of overwhelm in that change, in that transition. And I personally have experienced a lot of overwhelm in this past 12 months, a lot of unforeseen things happening, and just the mere fact that I'm in a place I've never been before, a place that's very small. I've been quite isolated. Obviously, it's all by design, it's all by choice. I chose to come here, and I'm grateful that I'm here, and I'm blessed that I have a house, and I'm happy and I'm healthy, and I have cats, and life is on a whole good. But there have been a lot of challenges, and they tend to happen all within that first 12 months. I'd even probably say 2 years. Obviously, I can't know that for sure yet because I haven't been here that long. I think I'm up to about 16 months now. But in terms of the purchase of my house, we're almost at 18 months. I have lived abroad before. I lived in Shanghai in China for 5 years. And living in China, I definitely had a transition period, and then I had a relationship breakup. So then I had to choose, do I go back home? Do I stay in China? What do I do here? Because I moved there to be with that person. And so I chose to stay in China, and then I had to find my own place and get a new job and all of these things. So there were big transitional periods for me when I was there as well. But Shanghai is a huge city. And when you're in a huge city and you've got stuff at your fingertips, you really don't feel as isolated as when you do when you're in a place that's got 2,500 people and nothing really to do. So at least I could distract myself in Shanghai by going to a shopping mall or going to the cinema or going for a walk, like endless, long, beautiful walks, hiring a bike, like a rental bike that I scan with a QR code and just off I go. I I did have a scooter for part of the time when I was there, so just jumping on the scooter and driving around museums, you know, shows, productions, bars, restaurants, you name it, they've got it all there, of course. They're a city of 30 million people. So when you come to a place that is particularly small, there can be a good chance that you're gonna feel isolated and lonely. And that's exactly what I've experienced on this journey. And sure, I've made some choices that have exacerbated that experience. I won't share them, they're my personal stories. But had I applied for residency 1 year ago, I would have already had that up, and I would not just be dealing with the personal emotional adjustment of a new place, but I would then be having to look into tax and licenses and all of these things that I just don't want to look at just yet. So long story short, I get my residency and I've got 12 months to, you know, wrap my head around more of the finer details of what it means to live in Italy. But anyway, I'm sitting here on my steps in my house, procrastinating about going to the Comune, which I believe is only open till midday, so I think I only have like an hour and a half left. So let's go to the Comune. By the way, I have no idea if I can film inside the Comune, so we'll just see. I may not be able to do anything. I may be able to take some photos. I have no idea. So we're just going to go along and see. I don't love filming myself outside on the street when people are around, that sort of thing. But we'll just go with the flow, see what happens, see what I can get. And if I can't get anything, I'll just talk you through the process. You know, I thought I had way more time than I had. I only have 30 minutes to get to the office. So this might not happen today. We will see. I might have to go back tomorrow. And I also have a battery that is dying. So I might not even be able to film while I'm in there. But what do I need? What do I have? I have my passport. I think this is all I need. That's all I'm going to take. I did contact someone before and they said, take your permesso di soggiorno and your passport. And I don't need a permesso because I am an Italian citizen with a passport. So I'll just go along, see what they say to me, figure it out as we go. I might end up being back there tomorrow anyway. This is the Comune. I'm told we have to go to the first floor. Here we are. Ciao.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Sto cercando Gianmario.
Qua, però è chiuso adesso.
Ah, ok.
Signore, domani mattina lo ritorno.
Ok, a che ora? Alle 9?
Ok,
grazie. Okay, my first effort totally bombed. Came too late, they're not there anymore. Hey friends, so yesterday didn't work out. I went way too late. That's Lizzie. Say hi, Lizzie. That was a big mistake on my behalf. You really need to go there earlier. So it's the day after, and I'm going back today with hours before they close. And I decided that I would also be a little bit more prepared just so that I don't get there and then they turn around and say, you actually need this information. So in addition to my passports, I'm also taking a bill that has my name and address on it. And I'm going to take the deed to my house as well, so that I just have everything just in case they ask me for it, because you never know what they're going to ask you for, right? So off we go, off to the Comune to get my residency today. Well, I made it, and now I'm just waiting. Kind of feel like celebrating, so is that weird? I'm like officially a resident. So I went into the office and I was still a resident from my time in Napoli, which was in 2006. So we had to transfer it to the new residency here where I am now, which is exciting. But I think I'm gonna go to the bar, get myself a little drink and croissant.